Hi, welcome to the Culture Curators Podcast. We're here to share insights, information, and resources to help you become a more effective salon and business leader. Hey everybody, welcome back. We're really excited about today's podcast episode because we're going to be talking about poaching versus recruiting, and that's kind of maybe a little bit of a sensitive yet hot topic, especially in our industry, recruiting, and we've been hearing a little bit of poaching going on lately. So Derek, what's your thoughts around poaching versus recruiting?
I personally believe poaching is wrong. It's my personal opinion, and I understand that it will happen. It has happened. It will continue to happen, right? But I just believe in creating something that is healthy and positive. And I think starting it off on the poaching foot isn't necessarily either of those two things.
Right. Yeah. And when we talk about poaching, what we're talking about is, maybe another business owner is going into your salon and soliciting one of your employees. Maybe they're contacting them via text message or phone call and inviting them in when that employee has not reached out to that business owner or has shown an interest in leaving that particular business to go to another business. And so when we talk about poaching, I think that's what we're talking about. And I think that that's really important to distinguish the difference between or what poaching is or what it isn't. And recruitment is quite different. Recruitment is around attracting your ideal candidate without going in and actually trying to take somebody away from an organization.
Yeah, and I think poaching also has to do with you're trying to shortcut the process, to be perfectly honest, in the sense that there's been an owner probably that has trained that person, that has put their time, their energy, their income into getting this person built up, helping them become a really busy stylist within their brand. And then here comes along the poaching hairdresser or owner that is kind of reaching out via DM or maybe offering, a higher commission rate or trying to kind of stir the pot of drama, to be honest, around, hey, come on board with us. Here's why. It's happened to me. It's happened to everyone for sure. And I think that it's just not a great feeling. It doesn't have a whole lot of integrity based around it. I understand that business is business, right? Business is a cutthroat world in a lot of industries. But if you're a headhunter recruiting for a large, medical organization or something like that, or if we're in an industry that is small salons that are based in main communities, a lot of these owners and other owners, you guys know each other. You're in a small town, you're in a small community. So it just doesn't bode well for community, for relationships, for positivity. And if I was a hairdresser, to be honest, if I'm being reached out from a salon owner that way, I when that did happen to me, when I was a hairdresser, it's like I never felt good about them reaching out to me about that.
Well, I think that you have to question their ethics and their morals, and I don't think it's necessarily a great way to start a business relationship.
Right.
And so I think that there's a lot of red flags that come with a business owner that chooses to do that. And I know that there are some companies out there that think it is okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay if that's what they want to align themselves with. There's no right or wrong. There's right for us.
Yeah, we're just giving you what we think about it.
And it's what we believe. Neither one of us believe that poaching is the answer. I remember someone coming into our salon and they actually had a business 2 doors down. And they were offering 60% commission. I started at 42% commission. But here's the difference. They didn't have the culture that we had, and they didn't have the clients. And so 60% of nothing is what? It's nothing. And so 42% was much higher because of the amount of clients that we had. And so I think it's a really big picture to take a look at when you talk about recruitment. And I think it goes back to your culture. I think it goes back to, build a strong enough business and a strong enough culture that you don't have to poach.
Yeah, and you know what? This industry, there's no shortcut to building your clientele, just as much as there's no shortcut to salon owners building their team. And that's what I mean when I said before, it's like you're trying to fast forward or shortcut the process this way, where recruiting really has to do with building a brand. What we generally teach is that you're building a brand that on the client, excuse me, on the hairdresser side is attractive because you will teach them. You will help them grow. You will help give them tools and resources, skill sets to grow in a healthy environment. And when that happens, it's a slow and steady process. It's like not a fast one. So that frustrates a lot of salon owners. And it's also hard because not everybody will work out that you are training. There's a lot that goes into it. So the poaching thing is kind of the next best thing for some people to think about. But I also would encourage those that if you're being coached around that, if you're coached around that in a small community, again, what type of relationships and what type of thoughts does that create within a small community when everybody's kind of having a poaching mentality?
Well, I think you need to take a look at the big picture. And I think sometimes when people are poaching, they're doing it because they're desperate. They see a shiny penny on the street and they want to pick it up because it looks shiny and it looks enticing. But the reality is you're in the moment, you're in the now. I want to pay my bill today. I'm not thinking about the future and all the ramifications that come from having a reputation of going out there and poaching in your own community.
Yeah, it's just, we don't recommend it if you haven't picked up that idea yet. We definitely don't recommend it. But let's talk recruiting. Let's talk, what we believe the best recruiting practices are. Why don't we give our top 3 or so?
Okay, so I mean, for me, number 1 is whatever it is that you do, you must do it consistently. So if you're choosing to go to the schools, if you're choosing to do education within your organization and invite other technicians into your salon, to set up your calendar yearly and really do it consistently and be committed to that process. It's not going to change overnight, but it may change in a year.
Yeah. I think another one is build a training system. Having a training system that, again, is going to attract people. We hear from so many hairdressers that say that during the interview process, the owner promised them that there was education, that there was a part of it, and then little did they realize that once they get to be a part of it, it's not really what they were kind of told. The things don't line up, and that creates an instant disconnect that's not healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another one for me, a big one for me, is being able to show someone a career path.
Yeah.
And to be able to sit down with someone and say, years 1 and 2, this is what it's going to look like. Then years 3, 4. And how amazing would it be to lay out a 10-year career path? Now, they may not stay 10 years. They may not stay 5 years. Right. But to be able to say, this is what it would look like if you would choose to stay. Year 1, you should be an apprentice or an assistant, an associate, whatever you call it. And I'm just making this up. Year 2, you're going to be a level 1 stylist. You should be able to go to a level 2 by the end of that year, and then going on and showing them approximately what they can earn, I think is a wonderful. It's so much better than poaching, in my opinion, that people get excited. And there's not a lot of business owners, a lot of salon owners that show a potential employee a career path.
Exactly. And I think when you do those 3 simple things, being consistent with what your approach is, and we definitely recommend going to schools, connecting with schools, getting a relationship with schools, making sure that you have some kind of a training system that's really clear, concise, and consistent as well, and scheduled. And then lastly, what Jill just said, these 3 things can really help because that third thing, if they can see a career path, they can see a future with you and with your company. So as opposed to them kind of like feeling it out and wondering what tomorrow or a year ahead can look like, it's going to be much more based around, hey, I have this clear path that I can this plan that I can work.
When we talk about recruiting, it's almost about building a relationship.
Yeah.
I think about it like dating almost, where you have the introduction, you might have the infatuation, then you're building that rapport and that relationship and that communication, and you have to wine and dine them.
Yeah.
And really let them know that you want them to be a part of your team and invite them in to shadow you. Maybe it's a meet and greet, the team. Maybe they're going to sit in on an education event at your salon, whatever it is. But you have to nurture that relationship in order to build the relationship, in order for them to truly understand what the culture is and get excited and want to be part of your team.
Yeah, my last thought around this as well is that, when you're an owner, this is a hard process, right? It is tiring. It can be a little bit discouraging. It sometimes feels like you're kind of laying seed down and you don't get to see the harvest. To be honest, that's a part of being a salon owner. It's a part of being a business owner. It's a part of, having a company that you're looking to build and build a team of people within. So I encourage you to learn how to kind of accept the challenges that come along with consistent recruiting. And you know what? Every now and then, if you need to take a little bit of a pause, you take a little bit of a break to reset yourself, restructure, reimagine how you recruit, that's okay too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we work with our clients all the time and trying to develop recruitment strategies. And it looks different for every single business. And so if you're wondering what steps you can take to recruit for your business, feel free to reach out to us, contact us, and we'd be more than happy to set up a discovery call to discuss this with you.
Absolutely. We are looking forward to the next episode. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.